Peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Hopefully, everybody is having a powerful, peaceful Sunday, being productive, getting work done. Hopefully, the weekend has been all peaceful for you all as well. Hope y'all got about 45 minutes to an hour to tap in with the kid, listen to the bill, add on all that good stuff, man. Y'all see the subject matter for the day. It's going to be a quick one. Get some things off my chest, get y'all inspired and motivated, hopefully to make some power moves this coming week. But what's the word, man? Talk to me before I start talking to y'all. Give y'all about 3 or 5 minutes before I tap in and start the build. So let me know how y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Sunday. What's the word? How we living? Sun, kiss, peace. What's happening? What's the word? How we living? How we feeling on this wonderful Sunday? Tap in with the kid, man. Y'all see subject matter, man. We in inspirational mode. So that's what we gonna be building on today. Sun, kiss, what's happening? Peace. Tap in, man. Let me know how y'all living and feeling on this Sunday. How the weekend been treating y'all? Give me a second, man. Let me get everything situated here, man. But we tapped in, man. Tapped in. Gotta inspire y'all to make some moves to create a better reality for yourself, man. That's what we on right now. That's what we on today. That's what we on for this coming week. Lindell, what's happening? Peace. Emmanuel, peace. What's happening? We tapped in trying to transform our reality, man. You got the power to do that. Stop giving that power to other people. Stop giving that power to other sources outside of yourself, man. So that's what we dealing with. Reclaiming that power to shift your reality. Something that's simple in theory, but complicated when it comes to putting it into motion. Hey, society, peace. What's happening? Tony, peace. What's happening? What's the word? How we living? How we feeling, man? What y'all been on this past week, man? Y'all been eating healthy? Y'all been hitting the gym? Y'all been doing y'all workouts, man? What's up? Got to tap in, make sure y'all stand on par when it come, stand up to par when it come to y'all health, man. Stand on point. Hopefully y'all been getting y'all workouts in and eating healthy, meditating, all that good stuff, man. Getting the mental and the physical in order. If you worked out, how many days you put into the gym this week? How many workouts did you do this week? How would you rate your diet and regimen, your nutrition this week, man? What's happening? How would you rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being great, 1 being trash, man? How would you rate your nutrition this week, this past week? What would you give yourself? Honestly. How was your nutrition, man? How was you eating this past week on that scale from 1 to 10? Go ahead and drop your number in that chat. That scale from 1 to 10. Let me know. Ray, what's happening? Mike, peace, what's happening? 1 to 10, 1 to 10. Give yourself an honest rating. What was that nutrition like this past week? Honest rating, man. Be honest with yourself. I don't want to see no lies now. If you didn't do too good, go ahead and put that in there. If you was at that 3, come on, put that in there. Now be honest with yourself. And if you worked out, how many days did you put in the gym? How many days did you work out? If you was outside in the crib, how many days did you work out? How many days did we work out, man? How many days did we put in when it came to working out? Go ahead and drop that number in the chat. You rate your diet, you rate your regimen, your nutrition. Now let me know how many days we worked out, man. We got to make sure we on point. Physical and the mental. Then the third question. So I got the diet, I got the regimen, the nutrition. Then I got the physical working out or the physical workout. What did y'all do for y'all mental? What y'all do for y'all mental this week or this past week? What did y'all do for the mental, man? Did you meditate? Did you journal? What you do? What did y'all do for y'all mental health this past week? What did you do? Outside of the physical workout, outside of eating right, what did you do for the mental? What did you do to feed that mind? What did y'all do to feed the mind? And whatever y'all did, we got to make sure we continuing to do this, man. Creatures of habit. We got to make sure we making these things a habit, man. We got to stop playing around with the mental and the physical. Everybody be analyzing and examining the world, and we focus on the current gossip and things like that, man. I've stopped. Like I used to be on that back in the day, but now it's like that they don't serve me any purpose, man. If I can't control it, I don't even entertain it at this point, man. I focus on what I can control. And the main thing I can control is my perception, my mental state, my mind. Like I can control that via what I feed it. So that's more so what I've been on these past months and years. And that's the energy that I like to pass on. Like I can have discussions when it comes to what's happening today, but I'm not about to settle on that. I'm not about to allow these things to bother me to the point where I'm frustrated, I'm stressed out. Nah. See, I can control that. That stressed out response to the current events, like that's me exercising my control and my power. Man, I'm choosing to become stressed out about what's happening. And then I'm stressed out about something that I cannot control. That's me exercising that power, man. So I don't give the world that power anymore to have me walking around frustrated and stressed out. Straight up. Hey, Antoinette, that decent sleep is something we sleep on when it comes to our mental health for sure, mental and physical. That's something I worked on, man. I done took some naps. Like that's something that I did, man. Just taking naps, man. I got some good sleep. That's something I definitely did, man. Just taking naps, trying to get more hours in when it comes to sleep, man. That's crucial. And that's one of my biggest downfalls when it comes to just my mental and physical health, lacking sleep. So I've been making sure that I'm trying to rest more, trying to get more naps in, more like sleep longer, all that type of good stuff. So Renzo, what's happening? So yeah, there we go. So we tapped in, man. So now y'all see the question in the title. Why are we using or why are you using that mind power, man, to basically create a poor reality for yourself? And I have conversations on a day-to-day basis, man, about mindset, about the mental state, and just how a lot of people don't realize that basically your reality, the present right now, your condition right now is the sum total of your thoughts all the way up until this point. So whatever your reality is right now, that is the result of your thoughts up until this point. And a lot of us don't want to accept that reality. Now, when it's a good reality, a lot of times we may accept that. But when the reality is piss poor and it's negative and it's destructive, then that's when the accountability tends to leave. Like we don't want to be accountable. We don't want to be responsible for a negative state. That's when we start to play the blame game. No, whatever your reality is, like you are the reason the reality is the way that it is. The law of attraction, all of these universal laws, they are always working, whether we want to consciously acknowledge and admit them or not. The law of attraction is always working because you are always putting out some type of vibration and frequency. Always. So you are always vibrating, fam. So when you are always vibrating, you are always attracting something based on the vibration that you are giving out. Again, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, your reality, you are always attracting something just by living, so you got to be more conscious and intentional about what it is that you attract. If not, you are in for a rude awakening. So you might as well go ahead and own that law of attraction and be more intentional about what it is that you attract, and just be more mindful when it comes to your ways and actions and your thoughts, and make sure everything is in alignment. Because again, if not, like it's move or be moved. If you don't consciously own that law, then that law is going to own you. So you just going to start attracting just random, what appears as random things, just based on your ways and actions and the energy that you've given out, opposed to just exercising that control over that energy. And now you have a better feeling in regards to what it is that you will attract. It might not be spot on, but it can be close when you become intentional and you be more mindful about that law, just exercising that power and control. But we don't like to do that, especially when it comes to the negative aspects of our lives. We don't want to take control of that, and that's one of the things, like that's part of our power as well. Like, again, we want to acknowledge the good, but man, acknowledge the bad. When you are able to do that, man, you will be able to evolve and grow. You will make quantum leaps when it comes to evolving. when you are able to acknowledge the so-called good and the bad that happens to you, and you own up to it, and you hold yourself accountable for whatever condition your life is currently in. Because again, you are responsible for that. I don't care what your life is looking like. Because why do I say that? Because your perception of it is the ownership that I'm talking about. Your perception of it. However you perceive your life, that's what it really is. So if you perceive your life to be negative, that's exactly what it is. That's why I say you have that control. The culture I come from, we the maker, we the owner. Like you own that reality. You make that reality. You create that reality via how you see it. So your explanation of what's going on around you, that's that control. That's that power. Your explanation of yourself, like that will determine what you become in life. And a lot of people do not have a great self-image. And again, on the Black side, a lot of that was done to us via some corruption, indoctrination, and brainwashing. So we gotta unlearn and relearn some things so that we can have a better self-image. But that's where a lot of things starts, man. Your self-image, how you see yourself, that's going to determine how you see the world outside of self. So if you see yourself in a negative light, you're gonna see the world outside of you in a very negative light. You see yourself in a positive light, you're going to see the world outside of self in a very positive and powerful light. So you got to work on that self-image. A lot of people are not happy with themselves. A lot of people don't know themselves. So that's why I always start there. That's why I always say that's the foundation of everything, getting to know yourself, being satisfied, being happy with yourself. That's where everything starts, man. That self-image. How do you see yourself, man? When you look in that mirror, when you tap in and look inside, look within, how do you feel? A lot of us, we are running from ourselves, man. We scared to look within. We striving to distract ourselves with all of these external sources, man. That's what we do. We just run. We run from ourselves, man. You can't sit in silence with yourself. And that's a problem, man. Why you can't sit with yourself, man? Why you can't sit in silence? You always need some type of noise from the outside to distract you from all them demons, as they call them, that's internal. So you got to face those things, man. You got to stop running from yourself. Gotta stop running from yourself, fam. Gotta stop doing that. You will not be able to evolve, elevate, transcend if you keep running from yourself and don't deal with these internal problems and internal struggles that you got going on. Send you for sure. Yeah, you gotta. Hey, whatever comes my way, I'm responsible for it. I don't care how much it looks like somebody else is responsible for it. I don't care. I don't care how much it looks like somebody else is responsible for what happened to me. I'm gonna, even if I got 1% of a role in what happened, then I'm gonna focus on that 1%. That means that was 1%, like where I could have did something different and I didn't. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna focus on my 1%. I'm not gonna focus on the 99% that's outside of my control. And we do that. That's what we do. We gonna harp on things that revolve around other people. Man, you can't make another person move in a certain type of way. People gonna do exactly what it is that they want to do at the end of the day. That's why I'm out of the business of giving a lot of advice to people, because at the end of the day, you are going to do what it is that you want to do. I done wasted plenty of time, plenty of hours, plenty of minutes breaking things down to people just for them to do what they already had in their mind to do. What people are looking for most of the time is confirmation. They want you to confirm what it is that they were already thinking. And the moment you don't do that, there's a problem. They tune you out. They don't want to hear the actual truth. They want is confirmation bias. We seek out the information that agrees with how we see something or what we think. So a lot of times when people are asking you for advice, they already got a direction that they want to go in. They just want you to confirm it. And when you don't, there's a problem. And they end up doing exactly what it is that they wanted to do in the first place, and then it fails, and then they be like, I should have listened to you. Too late. EJ, peace, what's happening? So I know I'm not the only one that then wasted that type of time and energy breaking things down to people that went and did the total opposite of what you told them to do. I don't really care to do that anymore. At the end of the day, people are going to continue to create their reality based on however they see fit to do it. I'm getting better at I'm getting better at being able to detect those people that actually really want advice and are going to implement the advice. I'm getting better at that. But very few people actually seek out advice to implement the advice. That's the crazy part about it. Very few people actually do that. Hey, Dominique, peace, man, for sure, man. We always strive and elevate and bring light to the day, man. Hopefully the day continue to goes up from here, man. It's still early. We still got a lot of time left in this day, to turn things around. It's that perception. You know what I mean? That perception. Whatever it is that's causing the day to be rough, that's a perception. That means it's a lesson in there somewhere. That's why it's rough. So you can shift that perception or perspective by figuring out why it is that you are going through whatever it is you're going through this morning. And once you figure out that why, now it's up. Now the roughness is going to turn into smoothness. Now it's going to go smooth instead of rough, So you just got to determine why whatever is happening to you is happening. That's it. That's it. And that's one of the ways I conquer a lot of my days. People be asking me how I be maneuvering, how I maneuver. And a lot of times it's simple. Hey, Ken, peace, what's happening? Like the main thing I do is I have just stopped labeling things that happen to me, whether it's good, bad, smooth, rough, whatever. At the end of the day, I look at it like, okay, things are happening to me. That's it. Things happen to me. That's it. I'm not going to say good things, bad things happen, because at the end of the day, when you say, all right, good, bad, boom, when you analyze and examine your day on a day-to-day basis, you will find out that all these things that we consider good are some of those are going to happen. Things that we consider bad, some of those things are going to happen. You're never going to go through a day without good things or bad things happening. That's just life. So at the end of the day, I really don't even label things that happen to me. It's just things happen to me. That's it. How I perceive it is the most important part. So I don't even look at something that happened to me and say, oh man, that's bad or that's good. I just examine what it is that actually happened to me. That's it. And I keep it pushing like that. So I don't label the things that happen to me good, bad, easy, difficult, like nothing. Like it's just something that happened to me, and boom, I examine it like that. That's how I do it. To get philosophical on y'all, I'm not going to say I don't believe in good and bad, but I really don't like those labels, because again, a lot of times it's subjective. Like you got some universal things that will happen that we will all agree on that's pretty bad, pretty harsh, and the same good. But for the most part, I try not to apply those labels to my life. Because at the end of the day, when I examine the universe and when I understand that internally there's no difference between me and this universe, like chaos and destruction is a natural part of the universe, and out of that chaos and destruction comes a lot of order. So without chaos and destruction, like this universe wouldn't be what it is. So that's needed. Like we need to have these storms. We need to have a lot of destruction. We need for certain things to wipe folks out. Like that's natural. But we may look at that and hear that and say that's bad. Like, no, that keeps the universe functioning properly. So that's how I look at life. I need those things that we consider destructive and bad to happen. Need it. And then it's inevitable. Like these things are gonna happen. So again, that's why I say perception. That's your perception, how you see it. Again, this universe we wouldn't be in existence basically if you didn't have the so-called bad part, the destructive part of this universe. You know what I'm saying? So again, I don't even entertain the label. And that's how I'm able to evolve. That's how I'm able to attract all the powerful things I need. That's how I'm able to do it. By simply using my mind, by simply using my perception. That's it. Mind power, man. You got the power. If you study quantum physics, man, quantum physics lets you know that pretty much everything is a big wave of possibilities, man, until you bring it into reality, until you make it matter, fam. Like your perception makes it a reality, fam. But until your perception says this is what it is, it's all a big wave of possibilities, man. That's like quantum physics, man. Quantum physics is letting you know that it's all a big wave of possibilities until you say, okay, this is what it is. When they did the experiment with the cat, man, is the cat dead or alive? And it's both. The answer is both. The cat is dead and alive until you examine it. Then when you examine it and you see, oh, the cat is dead in the box, well, then the cat is dead. You examine it and see that the cat is alive, the cat is alive. But until you examine and observe what's in the box, the answer is both. The cat is both dead and alive. That's quantum physics. And that's how you can shape your reality. You know, I don't subscribe to no religion. You know, people know what culture I'm a part of. But if I had to point out a theory or thought process or scientific principles that align with pretty much how I see the world, it would be quantum physics. It would be quantum physics. If you study quantum physics, then you know what I'm talking about. If you've read anything about quantum physics. But if there was one theory, if there was one subject or field that I say closely relates to how I view the world, it would be quantum physics. Quantum physics is right on point when it comes to how I kind of view reality. Quantum physics, I'm trying to tell you, you make it what it is. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that is reality, man. That's reality. When it comes to your life, if we just talking about finances, rich, poor, you both until you decide, man. You both, and this is how it's gonna work. Let's just say you got poor over here, rich over here. Which reality do you want? You can either decide that you rich, or you can decide that you poor. Now, if you don't claim it, and if you don't decide, guess what? The world is gonna decide for you based on the energy that you give out. That's how attraction works. So you can either claim it and control it and say, I'm gonna be rich, and this is what I'm gonna do to get there, or you will be moved. You will be moved by the frequency and the vibrations that you consistently give off. And for the most part, when you don't exercise control over that, it's going to be negative, because you are going to be motivated and inspired by the momentum of the world. The momentum of the world is negative. It's destroyed. Like you will be moved in that direction. You will be moved in that direction. Hence, you're going to be one of the ones that's always hopping on trending topics. So when you one of the ones that go with the flow of society, that's not going to end well for you. You will be at the bottom. You will be at the bottom. You know, you will be on a consumer level instead of a producer level. You have got to be a producer, not a consumer. You consuming all of these thoughts that's around you, and then that's the direction that you're gonna move in, instead of producing the thoughts and the reality. You got to produce the thoughts that's conducive to the reality that you want. If not, you're going to consume the energy that's around you via the people that's around you, via what you're watching, you know what I'm saying, via just society. I'd rather be a producer. I produce the thoughts that's conducive to the reality that I would like to create, instead of being a consumer of the energy that's around me. Like, for real. So when I go into a room, I'm not about to allow that energy to destroy me, to bring me down. If it gets close to that, I'm gonna neutralize it, because I'm mindful of it. I'm mindful of it. I say, man, I walked in this room, energy ain't right, so let me neutralize it. I'm acknowledging, I'm mindful of it, instead of letting it like literally consume me. If anything, I'm gonna try my best not to have to place myself in a room like that. But if I have to, then I'm going to be mindful of it, and I'm gonna do what's necessary to neutralize that energy. You know, sometimes you just got to go in these rooms, but for the most part, I'm not gonna walk in a room like that. I'm gonna protect my energy. What they say, protect my peace. I'm protecting that. You know, I'm real cautious in regard to the rooms that I step into. Real cautious, man. I don't want to step in every room. I don't want to walk in every room. I don't want to talk to all these people, especially when their energy is not right. Because one thing that's not promising. Hey, this Wavy, peace. Appreciate the cash app. But one thing that people don't realize that's complicated is neutralizing that type of energy, fam. When you are in a room full of like bloodsuckers, full of people that got some terrible energy, neutralizing that is hard, fam. It literally sucks the life out of you. So I would rather, oh yeah, Dominique, appreciate that. I would rather not have to fight like that. It's rough. I'd rather preserve my energy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna. I don't want to walk in a room full of people that the mindset is just not right and exact, and I gotta work hard. I gotta use a lot of willpower to neutralize that energy, man. That is rough. It's doable, but it's rough. Like that's when you will, like you ever been somewhere, fam, where you didn't physically do anything? Like you was at a function for like 6 hours, 5 hours. You didn't physically do anything. You could have just sat there. And then you got home and was just dead tired. Fam, that's that. The energy in the building, it drains you, and you was trying to neutralize it. It was a lot of gossip, small talk, just unnecessary energy floating around, and you was just trying your hardest to combat it. Fam, that happens to me all the time where I would go somewhere and like I get to the crib and it was like I had football practice all day and I'm just ready to sleep. Drained, man. Like listen, being mentally drained is just, it's almost worse to me than being like physically drained and tired. Like being mentally drained is rough, fam. Like you sitting around wondering, like, man, I didn't even do anything, man. Why am I so tired? Why am I so sleepy? Man, because you was fighting that energy. You was fighting it. Like you was fighting that energy, fam. You was fighting. It was a battle going on, and you ain't even realize it was going on. The room was just sucking the life out of you slowly. You fighting, you know, you put up a good fight. But fighting, I don't care what type of shape you in. Fighting is fighting, you know. You got to fight 12 rounds, you are going to be tired. I don't care what type of shape you in. You know, and then if the opponent is tip-top shape, then hey, it's going down to the wire, man. You know, so if you got a strong opponent, then that makes it that much more complicated. That's going to make the fatigue hit that much harder, man, if you going into it with a strong opponent. So when you go into a room and the energy is strong, that's going to make you even more tired. Delirium, A, for sure. And sometimes you can instantly feel it depending on how tapped in you are to self. When you really tapped in, when you really in that healthy state, sometimes immediately when you walk in that room, it's like, hold on, some is not right here. Blaze a piece for sure. The mind is the most powerful tool that we have for sure. And what they say, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and we waste the mind every day, literally. We waste the mind every day, and we make excuses for wasting this wonderful mind that we have, fam. Like literally, man, this mind is, you literally can change your reality right now by shifting your mindset. Literally, right now, you have the power to do that. But instead, for the most part, we choose to engage in mindless chatter, gossip, things that are not beneficial to where it is we would like to go in life, to the point where I done had to tell some people straight up that, hey, based on your ways and actions, based on your thoughts, based on the words that you are putting out in the atmosphere, this reality that you telling me you want, you don't want it. You know, when people start talking about a certain type of reality that they want, but then the words and the ways and actions are not lining up, they don't want that reality. They want whatever reality is going to be created and attracted to them based on those ways and actions. That's what you really want. Stop telling yourself you want something when your ways and actions are not in alignment. If you want something bad enough, then shift your ways and actions. Live your life in the way that is conducive for you to manifest what it is that you say you want. If not, you don't want it that bad. Clocks in, what's happening? If not, you don't want it that bad. You know, every day that you sit around, complain, mope about your life, that's the reality that you want, man. That's the reality that you want. Every time you speak ill about yourself, anytime you self-diagnose yourself, that's the reality that you want. That's the reality that you will create. And then you have people that hear some of the things that I'm talking to and bring mental health into it and say, oh, it's not that easy. Not once did I say it was that easy. I'm just telling you what it is that you have to do. Fam, I don't care about something being easy. difficult or complicated. I don't care about any of that. Matter of fact, the more complicated it is, the better I'm gonna feel when I conquer it. So I don't care about something being easy. That's what's wrong with the world. We want the quick fixes. So all the stuff that I'm telling folks, nah, it's not a quick fix. Nah, it's not easy. But that makes it more joyous when you do conquer it, when you do implement it, put it into motion, and start reaping the benefits of it. But you got to start putting in the work, man. You got to start somewhere, and it's not going to be perfect, man. When you start mastering the mind and shifting your reality, shifting your thoughts, you are going to have plenty of days where you go right back into those bad habits, man. But you cannot beat yourself up. Just bounce right back. You're going to have plenty of moments where you revert back to those old habits. Plenty of moments, man. Plenty of moments. But do not beat yourself up, man. If you had one day and you just went right back to those old habits, that old pattern of thinking, but then you had 7 days before that where you were good, don't be mad at yourself. You're going to slip up. That's normal. Just bounce back. Just acknowledge it. Bounce back. Say, okay, man, I had one of those days. It's cool. Tomorrow going to be much better. Matter of fact, the next 30 minutes about to be much better. That's how you got to do it, man. You got to have them conversations with yourself instead of saying, oh, man, I done slipped back to those old bad habits. I give up. See, that's what we tend to do right there. We slip up, then we give up. Like, nah, slipping up don't mean giving up, man. That means acknowledging what you did. You got to say, man, I slipped up. Why did I slip up? Get to the root cause of why you slipped up. And then be better the next time. That's it. That's it. When I'm training people and they get on a regimen, change up the way that they are eating, and they be doing good for 10 days and they slip up, they act like it's the end of the world. Damn, chill. It's not the end of the world. You went 10 days, you was eating your fruits and veggies, and then on the 11th day, you slipped up and you had a snack or two. It's all good, man. It's not the end of the world. You still living, you still breathing. That means you have an opportunity to bounce back and neutralize it. It's not the end of the world. That doesn't mean give up. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm trash, I can't stick to anything. No. That just means you slipped up. Now let's change up. That's it. But I see that all the time in my line of work there, man. People following some, slipping up one day and then just crucifying themselves, man, like they can't bounce back, like they don't have the power to shift that. Like they don't have the power to wake up the next day and say, okay, I slipped up yesterday. Let me bounce back today. Let me get back on point. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. That's how you do it, man. Give yourself some grace. We give everybody else grace. Give yourself some grace, especially when it comes to evolving, growing, being healthier, things like that. You have been indulging in these toxic habits for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Give yourself grace. 10 days that's not going to overpower 29, 30, 35, 40 years, man. So give yourself some grace, man. You will slip up. You will slip up. Just don't blame anything external. Just don't sit around crying about it. Just acknowledge it. That's it. That's what you got to do. Like I say, I see it all the time in my line of work, man. All the time. You've been eating trash for 35 years, man. You just started eating clean, and on day 11 you slip up. Like, come on, fam. Do the math there. That's more likely to happen. It's cool. Our Blaze for sure. And that's part, like, listen, part of fear, for one, is a lack of understanding. Like, we fear what we don't understand. When you understand something, you're not gonna fear it. Now, again, people hear that and start making stupid comments. Like, they'll bring up something like, let's just say you're afraid of snakes. They'll be like, oh man, no matter how much I understand a snake, if I see a snake, I'm still gonna be fearful. And then they hear me say, you fear what you don't understand, and when you understand something, it eliminates the fear. They'll think, I mean, oh, I know about a snake, go approach it. No, that doesn't mean that. All that means is if I see a venomous snake and I got an understanding of its venomous nature, now I know how to move or maneuver when I see the venomous snake. If I don't know that the snake is venomous, yeah, man, that's gonna instill all type of fear in me. Gonna have my heart rate up, fight or flight gonna kick in. But if I see that snake and say, oh man, that's this type of snake, that snake will kill you if you get close to it. Just don't get close to it. I'm not about to panic because I know exactly what I'm looking at. Now I know how to move. So a lot of times when we deal with fear, we deal with a lack of understanding. Strive to gain an understanding, and the fear will remove itself. So we fear we don't understand a lot of times, man. So gain an understanding, man, and that will eliminate the fear. Basically, aka make up your mind, because that's what's going to lead to that understanding. When you make up your mind to study this thing that you fear or face it, that's going to lead to you gaining that understanding, and that's going to eliminate that fear, man. The fear will dissipate, man. What'll happen. But every day that you choose not to face that fear, not to study it, not to gain information on it, you're gonna be living a fearful existence, man. And when it comes to the law of attraction, we understand that the emotion or feeling that's most dominant is the one that is going to manifest itself. So fear is a very dominant and powerful emotion and feeling. And so anytime you have fear residing within you, man, that's a very powerful feeling that's hard to neutralize. So when you living in fear, when you have any type of fear, like you will find it's not hard to attract what it is that you fear because of how powerful that emotion and feeling is. So it's best not to have fear, because again, whatever it is that you fear, that's a very dominant feeling. Fear is very dominant, fam. Fear can override love a lot of the times, fam. So again, when you choose to harbor and house that fear, that feeling, that emotion, you will find yourself attracting a lot of those circumstances and situations and things that you fear. So again, it's best to gain an understanding of everything that you fear so you can stop attracting that in your life. And that's real. So start gaining an understanding, man. Gain an understanding of what you fear. Face what you fear. When you face these things, you're going to realize that they are not as bad as we have painted them out to be. So stop running from it. And the biggest fear most of us had, as I was saying earlier, is our own selves, man. We fear our own selves, man. We fear all the things that happen to us. We fear our childhood trauma, man. We fear all these things. So therefore, we must distract ourselves, man. So you fear yourself. You're running from your trauma. But again, fear is very dominant. So that's going to cause you to manifest and attract a lot more of what happened to you back in the day into your life. When you find yourself going from relationship to relationship and it's toxic and it's trash, man, a lot of that can stem from you suppressing feelings and emotions in regard to a lot of childhood relationships that you had, whether it was a bad relationship with your father, bad relationship with your mother, bad relationship with your sister, brother, cousin, whatever, from back in the day. You didn't suppress what happened to you, and now you trying to figure out why you can't seem to enter a good relationship because you have suppressed that, fam. You have suppressed the very thing that led to this bad cycle of relationships for you. So until you decide to address that and reach some type of conclusion, you will continue to attract those type of situations and relationships to yourself. So you are bringing that pain and toxicity into your own life because you will not deal with self. You running from trauma, man. You suppressing that. Don't do it. Stop doing it. Yeah, I know it's rough. Yeah, I know it's uncomfortable. Yeah, I know it's unpleasant. That's why they call it trauma. I'm not saying face a trauma. It's going to be a beautiful feeling. No. The feeling that will come once you face it, reach a conclusion and resolve it, that will be beautiful. But the process, no. That's an oxymoron. Facing trauma, beautiful. No, fam. No. It's not going to be a beautiful thing. It's ugly. Very ugly. It can get very ugly depending on the person, depending on what happened to them. You got to face it. Especially when it's hindering your progress in life. Face it. 99% of the time, man, if you're not progressing at a rate of speed in which you would like to be, it's got something to do with you suppressing feelings and emotions, trauma, all that. So you got to start addressing those things, man, and resolving them, because suppressing them is not doing you any good at all. Suppressing these feelings and that trauma is not going to cause you to elevate. Logic, peace, what's happening? Face them. Face yourself. Sit with yourself. Sit in silence with yourself. 10, 15 minutes a day. Do that. Stop allowing these external distractions, man, to push you further away from yourself. Like, for real, man, a lot of people are afraid. Like, a lot of people can't sit in silence. A lot of people can't do it. A lot of people need some outside noise, man. A lot of people cannot sit in silence. And that is disturbing. That's disturbing. If you can't sit in silence because you are afraid of the thoughts that may pop up, that's a problem. When you're afraid to meditate because you are afraid of the thoughts that may pop up, we have a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem. So again, stop all that running. Stop running from yourself. You running from yourself, and then the irony, we run from ourselves and we run into other people that have sometimes worse problems than we have. And then there goes the formation of a toxic relationship. You running from yourself, running into a relationship, and this person that you ran into, they are just as broken as you. That is your alike. You know what I'm saying? That is your alike. And now this relationship is very toxic. So we got to stop doing that, man. Resolve the trauma, man. Resolve the like, you had the power to do that, man. Whatever is bothering you from back in the day, tap in with it. Like, you survived it. You know what I'm saying? You survived that joint. That's one thing you should accept. You survived it. You survived it, fam. You survived. You know, something happened to you. It's some people that went through exactly what you went through and they didn't survive it. You know, y'all know I'm a big Pac fan, you know, and I fool with the Outlaws. And man, Young Noble, you know, I think he's like the youngest member of the Outlaws, man. He just passed, killed himself, man. I mean, he had a lot of mental things going on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, hey, some people can't even handle it. Like, you went through some things, man, you survived, man, and you here. But that stuff will eat you alive, man, if you don't deal with them, man. It will eat you alive. It will eat you alive, fam. So you have got to deal, like, people live with this whole out of sight, out of mind mentality. That mentality doesn't exist. Like, that concept doesn't exist when it comes to your thoughts, when it comes to experiences in life. Out of sight, out of mind doesn't work. You know, subconsciously, hey, they say the memory of the subconscious mind is perfect. It doesn't forget. You know, so when you're dealing with the subconscious mind, you're dealing with perfection, fam. So just because you consciously buried that experience doesn't mean that it's not still there internally. The subconscious mind still got it. So you buried something consciously doesn't mean that it has been forgotten. Not at all, not even close. So now what's going to happen is you bury it consciously, and you're going to be walking around and you're going to be coming across certain things that trigger certain thoughts that are negative from you. And you're going to be like, man, I don't understand. Like, you will walk past a bright light and you just mad all of a sudden at bright lights. And you like, man, why did I just get mad at this bright light? Well, that's because you suppressed the fact that you got molested when you was 9 and the lights was bright in the room. You know, so now you ain't understanding why these bright lights got you mad. Every time you come across bright lights, you're mad, and you don't understand it. The subconscious mind didn't forget. You just buried it consciously. So now you walking around mad at bright lights and don't know why. Because you have suppressed that. But the subconscious mind still got it. And every time you see that bright light, that subconscious mind, like, that's bright light. That's what this is associated with, mad. You know? So again, man, you got to stop suppressing, stop burying it. Because these triggers, man, going to set you off. And you're not going to understand why you're getting set off. And it's going to be hard to address the trigger when you don't know what's causing the reaction. So tap in, man. You got to tap in, fam. Like, I didn't read stuff that was as deep as somebody getting traumatized in a room where the walls were blue and they suppressed it. And every time they are in a space where the walls are blue, like the anxiety goes up and the heart rate goes up, and they wasn't understanding that. It's because when they got raped or molested as a child, the walls were blue. So blue walls set off a trigger. Like, man, stuff can be that deep, fam. But if you suppressing things, man, it's gonna be hard to get to the bottom of something. It's gonna be hard to get to the bottom of it. You know, so you might be getting set off by certain things that have a lot to do with something that happened to you when you was a kid, but you suppressed it, man, and now it's hard. You don't understand what's really happening. So again, stop suppressing, stop burying. Stop burying those thoughts. Stop suppressing those thoughts, man. It's not a good thing to do. It's not healthy. It's not healthy, fam. Resolve all internal conflicts, man. And again, I'm not saying it's easy. It's going to be very complicated. It's going to be very ugly, very uncomfortable, but you must do it. You must sit with yourself 15 minutes a day. Give yourself that. Allow the thoughts to do what they do. Don't try to block the thought out. Don't try to block the thought. You know, if the thought is very unpleasant that's coming to you, allow it to be that. Allow that unpleasant thought to run its course. Don't try to block it. Don't try to block it, fam. And that's what we do, man. All that unpleasant thoughts coming. Now we got to block it. Let that thought do what it's gonna do. Run its course. Because blocking that thought is part of the problem. That's the reason why you're there in that moment. That's the reason why that thought is even coming back, because you keep trying to block it. The subconscious mind is not gonna delete it. So every time you keep trying to block it, it's gonna keep coming back. So resolve it. You resolve it. There's no need for it to come back to you. Icy Peace, what's happening? There's no need for that thought to come back to you when you have resolved it. So resolve it. Deal with it. Sit with yourself. So that will allow you to be able to move forward with your life. You know, a lot of us are not able to move forward because of those things from the past that we are not trying to face. Face it. Face it. That's the best thing that can happen to you when you face the things that happen to you, man. Reach some conclusions in your life. Reach some conclusions in your life, man. You know, hey, some people treated you wrong back in the day. Gain an understanding of them. You know what I'm saying? Gain a thorough understanding of the individuals. What state of mind were they in when they was treating you as such? You know, do the knowledge to everything in existence when it comes to what happened to you back in the day, fam. Whatever foul thing happened to you and whoever was responsible for it, do the knowledge to it all. Do the knowledge to what happened, the people that were responsible for it, all that, man. All of that. All of that. I ain't saying make passes, but it's like, man, just gain an understanding. Okay, this happened to me, man, because of this. You know, my cousin did this to me, and this happened to cousin. Okay, now I'm understanding this, man. You are now gaining an understanding of what's happening in, like, why things happen, instead of just being frustrated and mad about it. Like, nah, man, why did this happen? And I was reading this book on psychology about, I was skimming through it. I didn't fully read it yet, man, but I was skimming through it. And it was basically talking about, you know, why good people do bad things, things like that. And it was just breaking down some of the science of it, man, the parts that I was skimming through, you know, and it talked about how we examine and analyze bad actions, and basically how we need to start examining the environment more so when we see people do rough things. And it brought up the Rwanda genocide, you know, and how those two warring sides had just been neighbors, like they had just been cool. And then the government went up and filled this side up with lies, telling this side that, hey, these are the enemies and we need to kill them. And if you don't kill them, this is what's going to happen. The next thing you know, they're enemies now. Had a lot to do with the environment and not necessarily the people in the environment. When it comes to the individuals, now we got people that put that energy in the atmosphere, the government, things like that, you know. But a lot of times, man, we ignore the environmental factors that are at play when it comes to why people move a certain type of way. You know, so we can't not acknowledge that. And that's what that book was talking about. You know, it takes nothing for people to buy into certain concepts around them that can alter the way that they view you or their relationship towards you. So we got to be mindful of things like that. Yeah, we can exercise a certain mental power, but for the most part, that's not what the masses are going to do. The masses are easily led in the wrong direction. So we got to understand that that's what we are dealing with. You know, and sometimes you literally will be dealing with a person that has been misled by society. They have been influenced by society, and that has a lot to do with how they move. You know, so when you tapped in and when you able to exercise the power of the mind, when you are the minority when it comes to that, then you are able to see that. You know, you are able to see that. But yeah, that joint was talking about the Rwanda genocide, like the Holocaust, things like that. And it was just talking about how people that would have never committed such acts beforehand, all of a sudden just became killers almost overnight due to, you know, indoctrination, brainwashing, man, due to what was being fed to them via the environment, via the media, via their government. Turn a person that would have never been a killer into a killer, man. That can happen. And I created my own scenario with that, right? I was just like, we got the same, like the same thing can happen. Like people will be like, man, I never do X, Y, and Z. I say never say never. Like I feel like at the end of the day, when it comes to assessing an individual, assessing a person, never say never. You don't know what you are capable of, given the right set of circumstances. The right set of circumstances will turn anybody into a killer, or you will be killed. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you walk around thinking it's something that you would never do when it comes to violence, when the right circumstance presents itself, you will be surprised. And that's basically what that book was talking about. I know for a fact if the circumstances became some type of way for me, I would turn into a killer. I'm not about to be killed. Like I value, I'm not, no. If the circumstances got rough around me and I had to be a stone cold killer, it would happen. I'm not about to walk around acting like, oh man, I'd never do the nope. Telling you right now, you would be surprised. And we are known for that. From an evolutionary standpoint, we adapt and adjust to our environment. So if that environment warranted for you to be a stone cold killer, I promise you, it's either you do that or you will be killed. Survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest, fam. So you will be surprised what you are capable of, man. If you get the right set of circumstances hit you and you had to become violent, a large portion of people who act like they are not violent people will become violent. I promise you. You know, and that's one thing that book just it got me to tap into. But I've always kind of believed that. Like I've always believed that anyway. That book is really just it's almost confirmation bias for that book for me. I've always believed that the right set of circumstances turn you into an individual that you thought that you wouldn't become. So that's why when people be trying to tell me what it is they would and wouldn't do, I'm like, all right, you don't know until that environment presents itself. You just don't know. Like you literally don't know. Like just like the slavery days and how people in 2025 like, man, there ain't no way I would allow that to happen to me. You would be surprised. you would be surprised if you was back then. You was gonna have two sets of people: the Nat Turners, the Nat Turners, and then you would have the people that say, all right, man, look, the best thing for my family is to just go ahead and be just go ahead and be a house of field Negro. You would have had this. You would have had those of us that said, "All right, man, I can't handle this. I'm about to go ahead. We just gonna kill some of these folks. We gonna kill some of these folks." Hey, for sure. Yeah, the right circumstance definitely turns somebody into a criminal. Now, again, that's not That's not justifying it, but I promise you the right set of circumstances to turn you into something that you would have never fathomed becoming. So I don't put anything past anybody. You know, when somebody's starving, fam, like when somebody's starving, they gonna find a way to eat. Like, and that's just, I'm gonna put it at that. Hey, wise the dawn, peace, my good brother. Peace, peace, Lord, peace. But somebody starving, they gonna find a way to eat. And that's all I'm gonna say, man. A man, especially a man is not gonna sit around and starve for too long. A man is gonna make his way to some food by any means necessary. Like, man, if that man is starving, he's not gonna be starving for too long, man. Like, for real. And the people who have constructed this American reality, they know and understood that. That's why they placed us in, that's why they have done their best to place us in a certain type of environment. Look at that, look at the camera falling, all type of stuff. But that's why the orchestrators of the American reality have done a good job of constructing a reality for the original people of the planet Earth to where exactly what I said becomes the reality. They know we're not about to sit around and starve for too long. So let's cut off their means and their means of being able to provide for themselves and their family. So that then they can turn into some savage animals and start killing one another. Like that's why they constructed the reality that they have constructed for us. You know, we know that a man is not about to sit around and not be able to eat for a very long time. If this starts happening for too long, he's gonna become a criminal. He's gonna kill his brother. He's gonna kill his sister. This is what's gonna happen. So then, boom, the best way for us to construct that reality, let's make it that much harder for them to fend for themselves and provide. We're gonna turn a lot of them into animals by fending off their means, like by eliminating or making it that much harder for them to provide for their families. Like, that's literally how they orchestrated this reality. Like, we got plenty of books on creating a criminal and how they've criminalized the black man and this image. Like, we got plenty of books, plenty of elders and ancestors have written books on this topic, fam. And they knew this. Like, if you take away certain things from a man, at the end of the day, a man is still a man. No matter how hard you try to feminize this man, at the end of the day, he's still a man, and that pride and ego still stands. So it's only so long we about to go. It's only so long we about to go, and we not able to provide how we need to provide, and they know that. They know that it's only so long a man is about to go this long and got this family to provide for, and he not able to provide how he needs to provide. It's only so long that's going to go on before he take matters into his own hands. They even know that. Like, they know that. They operated like that, historically speaking, when they was fed up with what was happening to them, Boston Tea Parties, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So they are familiar with that. You know, so it's funny when they act shocked that we did or we do it. You know, but they know that reality. They know at the end of the day, like, man, nah, a man is only going to go for so long, not being able to provide for himself or his family. Gonna take matters into our own hands eventually. So let's make it that much more complicated for that brother to be able to provide for his family. And we gonna create, and then we gonna put all of them in the same communities and call it a project. And then we gonna see how these brothers start to kill each other, because we didn't constructed this reality. And then we were going to remove our involvement. We will remove our involvement in it, what they call the unseen hand, and make it seem like we have had no role in that. And that's what that book was talking about. Acknowledge the environment. So then when you acknowledge the environment, now you got to acknowledge all of the people who are responsible for creating said environment. And that's what white folks never want you to do, or never want us to do. White folks never want us to look at the environment. They like for us to look at the individuals in the environment. So then that's where all of the blame goes. If we look at the total picture, now we have got to look at the environmental circumstances that have led to these actions. Now, who have created this environment? What laws, what rules and regulations have been put in place for this environment to be the way that it is? Now you start coming across things like redlining, man. You're just gonna come across all of these laws, man, these court battles and things like that that led to this. They don't want you to do that. They want you to say, oh, these black ghettos or neighborhoods are simply because black people are lazy. It's not the case. Never the case. Never the total picture. Do we have lazy black people? Yes. Yes. But do we also have black people who have done everything in their power to do things a legit way, but they have had every door slammed in their face, and then it affects them, and then it creates this, it can lead to the influence of this type of mentality? Yes, indeed. Now that's what they don't want to admit. Then they don't get us started on like redlining. I didn't work in banks. You know, I didn't took business ethics classes, and they talk about laws and things like that, man, to where even my people, the first crib we lived in, the crib that I was in when I was born, fam, like that was a predominantly white neighborhood. And my parents said they tried to get several houses in that neighborhood, and them white folks would not sell it to them. They just so happened to come across a white lady who was like near death, who decided to go ahead and give them the crib that we ended up settling in. But they was like, man, them white people were not trying to sell them houses in that neighborhood. So what's gonna happen if I'm trying to get a crib and I'm trying to get in a decent neighborhood, decent school district, but it won't nobody sell me a crib in that neighborhood, then I'm forced to choose between the neighborhoods where I'm accepted. And if those neighborhoods are not the best, then what's gonna happen? So you trying to go into some decent neighborhoods, fam, and now everybody said, nah, we ain't selling you. Nah, we ain't selling you. You know, and then the neighborhood that my peoples ended up being in 6 years later, white flight didn't happen. All the white folks didn't left. Oh, they didn't let one black family in. They didn't let two black families in. Time for us all to go. And then now the property value goes down because the white people left. Come on, man. Like, we got to look at the connection, man. Again, they don't ever want us to look at the full picture, the full spectrum. Like, ever. Because when we break down that full picture, man, again, y'all see where that's going to end up. Y'all see where that's going to end up, or how that's going to end up when we start studying the bigger picture. Like, they don't want us doing that. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I didn't did my hour, man. I didn't serve my time, man. I hopefully y'all took some away from this bill, man, and y'all can apply the lesson that you attain from this bill to your life this coming week, fam. You know, so hopefully, man, you can elevate and evolve based on the lesson or lessons that you attain from this stream. You know, but I'm out. I will not be able to tap in next weekend, man. I got to go to this family reunion. You know, so I may try to tap in one day during the week with y'all, man, but be on the lookout. If not, I'm gonna make sure I fill y'all up with some content, man, to keep y'all inspired, motivated, and informed. But man, I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate the cash apps and all the love, man. Hey, it's peace. As always, man, I'm gonna let y'all get back to enjoying what's left of this weekend. I'm out, y'all. Peace.